All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be previewing the Sweet 16. It starts tonight, and I am very, very excited to watch these final few games of college basketball. That's what we're talking about here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, getting closer and closer as the days go on. So all support around the channel will be very much appreciated. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So previewing the Sweet 16, we're gonna go by the schedule of games. So the first game we got tonight is BYU Alabama in the East region. Alabama, the 2 seed. They beat Robert Morris, survived Robert Morris in the first round, and then took care of St. Mary's in the second round. And then BYU, the 6th seed, they beat VCU in the first round and then took out Wisconsin in the second round. If you're a fan of offense and scoring and all that stuff, this is the matchup for you. These two are great offenses, teams that love to shoot the ball, love to put up a lot of points. So we might get our highest scoring game of the tournament right here. I mean, both these teams can easily put up 80 to 90 points in a game. Like, both these teams do. Alabama just does it for a living, and BYU has just been really, really hot. And I think this is going to be a very, very, very fun matchup. BYU has just been very good so far this tournament. In my original bracket video, I picked BYU to go far, go to Elite Eight. I just liked what their offense does and all that stuff. Even then, they've been impressing me a little bit because they have just been on fire. They're playing great basketball. Igor Demon, a potential lottery pick, has been playing really, really well. Shooters all around. Reggie Saunders is doing his thing. They're big man. Keita, I keep forgetting his name. It keeps messing up in my mind. For their big man, who's a little bit undersized for a big, but he still blocks a lot of shots. He's doing his thing. Alabama, though, they are not an easy team. I mean, they're a 2 seed for a reason. They are very good. Again, they put up points like it's nothing. They have size. They have depth. They have all that stuff. Again, this is going to be a very good game. Things I'm watching for Alabama to win this game, I think they're really going to have to. I mean, their depth is going to have to come to play. Obviously, their depth's going to have to come to play like it has been the first 2 games. They're going to keep needing that. And just the perimeter shooting needs to go down. Once you have a big down there that can block a lot of shots, obviously they're going to have to really get their offense going from the perimeter. And I think if their perimeter shooting can be really good like it has been and they can knock down shots like that, I think they'll be fine. For BYU, they're going to have to step it up defensively. They're not an amazing defensive team, but they can get stops when they need to, and they've shown that throughout this tournament. And they need that again here today in a big way. They need their defense to really, really, really step up. Because if you get in a scoring matchup with Alabama where it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you're not very likely to win that game. Because Alabama, that's what they do. So BYU, are gonna have to really step up on the defensive end and not get into a shootout with Alabama. They're gonna have to really try to lock in, lock up, and hopefully, again, hit some shots as well. I think it's going to be a very exciting game, high scoring one, all that stuff. And ultimately, I'm still kind of going back and forth on who I want to pick in this game. This might be like the toughest game for me to pick, honestly. Like, looking at these 2 games, yeah, I think this is the toughest one for me. BYU Alabama. I'm going to be very locked into this game. Ultimately, I think I'm going to stay with my original prediction, man. I picked BYU to go far, and that's what I'm picking, man. I mean, BYU has just been on fire in this tournament. I understand Alabama can definitely win this game. They're not a team to mess around with. They can score a lot of points. But there's something about BYU, man, that I just really, really like. And I think if BYU can consistently get stops, not saying they have to hold Alabama to 57 points because they're not going to do that. But if BYU can just get kind of like when I talk about the NBA and stuff, where it's like, if you're not an amazing defensive team, as long as you get the stops, you need to get the stops in the last 2 or 3 minutes, you're good. You can survive off that a little bit. And I think BYU can do that. I think if BYU could get some stops late in this game and use their solid enough defense to get some stops in the last couple of possessions, and with their offensive firepower they have, they're clicking at the right time. So I'm going to go BYU, but I think, again, this is going to be a very, very, very exciting game. Next up, we got Florida, Maryland in the West region. Florida, the 1 seed. They took out Norfolk State in the first round and then survived a thriller against UConn. That might have been the best game of the tournament. That was such an amazing game. And they have 4 seed Maryland, who they took out. Who they play first? Grand Canyon. They took care of Grand Canyon, and then they got a game winner from Derek Queen over Colorado State in another very, very, very good matchup. This going to be another exciting one, man. I mean, Maryland as a 4 seed. They're very exciting to watch. They have some really good players. Their starting five, the Crab five they have is really good. Derek Queen, if you're watching for potential NBA players, you have Derek Queen who is raising his stock as we go on. He's going to be very, very good. But Florida is tough, man. And that game against UConn really, I mean, it was an amazing game. And I think it really showed how good this Florida team was because UConn was in control for a lot of that second half of that game, and Florida was not playing probably the worst game they played in a very long time throughout the first maybe 30 minutes of it, 35 minutes of it. But that last few possessions, Florida really got it going. They got some stops in the defensive end, and Walter Clayton Jr. just hit some amazing shots to end this game, and it really showed why they are Florida, why they are a 1 seed, and why a lot of people are picking them to win the national championship because they are that good. And that was a huge win against UConn, big morale booster, probably big shock too, where it's like, dang, UConn gives us a big run. Okay, we got to really lock in, and be in our P's and Q's. Ultimately, I'm taking Florida. I think it's gonna be really tough to beat this Florida team, man. UConn had a really good shot at it, but that's also because they have an amazing coach and a championship experienced team. Even though they don't have much of the players on that, when you have a good coach, you're gonna have a chance in these tournaments. And Maryland, even though I don't think Maryland's bad at all, again they have a really good starting five and they've been doing their thing. But I just think Florida is just Florida's a different level of challenge, and Maryland not having a lot of depth and all that stuff really I think is going to hurt them in this game. But Florida having a really good bench, I think Florida's got this game. Even though I think it can be entertaining, but ultimately I got to go Florida. Next we go Duke, Arizona, back in the East region, 1 seed Duke. They took out Mount St. Mary's and Baylor in the first 2 rounds, kind of gliding through those. Then 4 seed Arizona, they took out Akron in the first round and then beat Oregon in the second round. This game, Duke has just been very, very good. This first 2 games, they've probably been maybe the most dominant team in the tournament so far. They just kind of been, well, maybe them or Houston. Those two have been the most dominant teams in the tournament so far. Duke taking care of business. They're just a loaded team. You have Cooper Flag, obviously, but then you also have guys like Tyrese Proctor shooting the ball insane right now. Concanepo's doing his thing. Come on, Malak is doing his thing. The bench has really been providing a lot of good stuff. They've been doing it on both ends. And they've just been taking care of business. Like, we're doing what 1 seeds do. Just taking care of business. And Arizona has been a little bit impressive to me in this tournament, I mean, they got off to a bad start against Oregon. I thought Oregon was going to just kind of run away with it. They came back. Not only did they come back, but then they gave it back to Oregon. So they've really impressed me. Caleb Love is very hit or miss. They're going to need Caleb Love to be on in this game. This is a very tough task to take down a really, really good Duke team. You have Carter Bryant. That's a really good two-way player that maybe can play some good defense on Cooper Flag, hit some threes. They have size. This is not a bad Arizona team. It's just I think Duke's roster and the way they're playing is just like it's going to be a very tall task. Not impossible, obviously, for Arizona, but I don't know. I don't know. I got Duke in this one. They just been. I mean, the first 2 they just been dominating through, running through both teams. I mean, ran through Baylor, and again, the roster they have is just I think really really strong. Maybe the strongest roster in college basketball right now. Like I just love everything they have over there, and it's gonna be a really tough task for Arizona to beat them. They're gonna have to really be on their stuff and really knock down a lot of shots. They're gonna need Caleb Love to have a big game in this one. And yeah, I gotta go Duke. Last game for Thursday is Texas Tech Arkansas 3-10 back in the West region. 3 seed Texas Tech. They survived UNC Wilmington in the first round, took out Drake in the second round. Then Arkansas, the 10 seed, are kind of like our Cinderella right now. They took out Kansas in the first round, a really good game. Then they made probably the biggest upset of the tournament so far, taking out St. John's in the second round. This Arkansas team is doing his thing. John Calipari has these guys, these young kids, rolling right now. I mean, they're playing some really good basketball. DJ Wagner is hooping right now. James Adu has been such a huge part of this team. Yeah, John L. Davis, Boogie Flan is back. They have so much, their athleticism and their size has really been shown through the first 2 games. Like, they just have guys that are just running around everywhere, causing havoc, playing good defense, blocking shots, doing all this stuff, and then offensively they've been able to get it done as well. And this team just has confidence right now. I mean, you take out Kansas, a Kansas team that has Bill Self, one of the greatest coaches in college basketball, in a elite Kansas program. Do you take out a 2 seed in St. John's, who's been doing his thing? Like, the confidence has to be at an all-time high right now for Arkansas. When you have young players, especially a lot of guys on this team that are freshmen, sophomores, all this stuff, like, that's the best thing to have for them. You give them confidence. They're like, oh shoot, we can beat this team. We can beat this. We can win these games. Why can't we go that far? So Arkansas is gonna be tough. Texas Tech though is a really good team, really good defensive team. They have JT Toppin, who has been amazing so far, and they have the element of the three ball, where they're gonna take a lot of threes, and when they make them, there's nothing you can really do about it, And so far the first 2 games, they've been making their shots, and there hasn't been anything you can really do about it. But Arkansas, man, this is going to be a very, very exciting and entertaining game. Um, I mean, Texas Tech, they're going to have to be able to knock down their shots, but they're also going to have to. Texas Tech is really going to have to be on their stuff on the defensive end. They're really going to have to lock in defensively, and they're really going to have to try to slow down these young Arkansas guys quick. Like, honestly, I feel like Texas Tech has to punch first in this game. Texas Tech has to come out and, not saying they have to be up 20-4 or anything like that. I'm not saying something crazy, but I feel like Texas Tech is gonna have to come out and throw the first punch and take a quick 8-point lead or something like that quick, and try to build on that momentum. Because I feel like, again, if you give this young Arkansas team, if Arkansas comes out punching first, I don't know if Texas Tech is gonna win this game. I think Texas Tech has to come out and punch first in this one to kind of calm down Arkansas and just kind of be like, hey, like, don't we're a 3 seed, we're this good for a reason. Calm down there. For Arkansas, I just think they're gonna have to really win on the rebounding glass. If they can contain JT Toppin a little bit, use that athleticism that they have all around the court, and try to slow down JT Toppin and not have him have a big game and a big impact. I think that could be really good for Arkansas. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a very entertaining game, very good one. And this is another one I'm kind of a little bit undecided on. Um, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Texas Tech. I'm gonna go Texas Tech in this one. I think it's gonna be another very good game, down to the last couple minutes type of game. But ultimately, I just like Texas Tech, the defense that they have, the 3-point shooting that they have. I just like Texas Tech really as a team. Like, I'm a big fan of what Texas Tech does, But Arkansas definitely is gonna have a real good shot in this one. I'm very excited to see how they come out. Going into Friday's games, first game we have Michigan State Ole Miss down in the South region. 2 seed Michigan State. They beat Bryant in the first game, then beat New Mexico in the second game. Two very close and entertaining games. Michigan State's been doing it. And 6 seed Ole Miss. They survived against North Carolina in the first round, and then they took out Iowa State in the second round. They have been on fire, shooting the 3 ball at an amazing level, amazing clip. Their defense has been good, really good. Chris Beard is really doing his thing right now, and I think this could be another very good matchup. Michigan State hasn't been maybe as dominant as you like to see a 2 seed or a team of that magnitude be. They got off to really rough starts in the first 2 games, but the second half is where it's changed. The second half of both games, they've come out, they've hit them. They come out, play good defense, get stops, get on transition, get some points, and really, have been executing better in the second half than the other 2 teams that they've faced. But Ole Miss is a team that's kind of been the opposite, where they come out swinging. Ole Miss has come out in the first 2 games and got hot from 3, had a big double-digit lead early, and just kept it going. So this kind of contrasting things where Michigan State's been a rough first half, they come up in the second half. Ole Miss has been go hot in the first half, and then they come down a little bit in the second half. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting matchup. I think with the way Ole Miss can shoot the 3 ball and the way they've been doing it, I don't know if Michigan State can really survive. Like, they definitely maybe could survive it, but I just don't like. I don't like them having to play from behind in every game. I don't want them going at halftime down 8, and then we have to come back again and do that. Especially against Ole Miss team that again can shoot a lot of threes. Like Padula and them could hit threes, and they have size and really good rebounders and athletic players and all that stuff. And then they have to come back. Like, I don't know. I just don't want Michigan State to be in a position like that again, where they're gonna have to come back again. But if Ole Miss can come out early and punch, that's good. But it's gonna be that execution in the fourth. Well, I said fourth quarter. I forgot college basketball second half. the execution in the last couple minutes of the second half is where it's really going to determine this game. Because again, Michigan State has been great at it. Ole Miss hasn't been as super impressive as Michigan State has, even though they still won those two games. So I think it's going to really come down to late game execution for both sides. I think this can be a really, really good game. I'm going to go Michigan State ultimately, even though I do think Ole Miss could give them a really good game. Again, with the three-point shooting they have, the athleticism they have, I think it could be very intriguing. Chris Beard's going to put together a good game plan, but Tom Izzo, Michigan State, I feel like they know that this Ole Miss team is coming out firing, and they're going to have to put a stop to it. So I believe in Tom Izzo. I believe in Michigan State. They're going to come out and have a really good game. So I'm going Michigan State. Next, we have Tennessee, Kentucky in the Midwest region. 2 seed Tennessee. They took care of what they played in the first game. It was Wofford in the first game, and then they beat UCLA, took care of them. Then Kentucky, they took out Troy in the first one, and then they beat Illinois. So both of these teams have been kind of taking care of business the first two games. Going to be a very exciting matchup, a rivalry. We get Tennessee, Kentucky, two SEC teams meeting up. This is going to be a very good one. Tennessee, we know what they do on the defensive end. They're tough. They're physical. They do their stuff on defense. Chaz Lanier has been shooting the heck out of the ball lately. And then you have Sakai Ziegler, a good point guard, handling everything else. Kentucky, though, has also been on fire. Otega Ogwe has been really good. Kobe Brea has been hitting his shots. This Kentucky team has been hot, on fire from three. Their bench has come in and really provided a lot of good things. This is going to be a very interesting matchup, with a tough, rough Tennessee team and a really good shooting, Kentucky team. I think it's going to be a very good matchup. I've been impressed with what Kentucky has done in the first two games. Looking at what I think could happen for Tennessee, I think they're going to really have to enforce their physicality in this game. I think Tennessee is really going to have to come out and try to, and be physical with Kentucky, show that physicality very early on, play some really tough defense, and I think that can really go a long way for Tennessee, but they're also going to have to knock down their shots because Kentucky has been knocking down their shots, so Tennessee is definitely going to have to get a lot of offensive contribution, and they're definitely going to have to knock down their shots. For Kentucky, it's going to have to be just, they have to be on point on their offensive game, really are, and I like to see Kentucky maybe try to, win the rebounding battle, win the little battles. I think Kentucky's going to have to win the little battles because Tennessee does that a lot, where they win the little things, by getting an extra possession and all that stuff. Kentucky's going to have to do that. Kentucky's going to have to come in and really put their hard hat on, win the little battles, but also be able to shoot the ball very well, like they've been doing the first two games. I'm going with Tennessee in this one. I just like Tennessee's defense a lot more, and what they've been doing so far has been really good. But I think this is going to come down. This is going to be I think this is a game that's going to come down to the last couple minutes. This game is going to come down to the last couple minutes. And Tennessee, I just like their defense and their, kind of, I guess, upperclassmen, their veteran leadership a little bit more. Even though Kentucky is not the same Kentucky team you've seen the last couple of years. They're not all freshmen anymore. They're also a upperclassman type team. But Tennessee, I don't know. I just like them a lot more in this matchup. Next, we got Auburn, Michigan, back in the South region. 1 seed Auburn beat Alabama State in the first game, and then took out Creighton in the second one. Michigan, the 5 seed, survived against UC San Diego, and then beat Texas A&M. This matchup, Auburn, they've been very good. Janai Bruins been doing the same. Miles Kelly has been knocking down his 3-ball, and this Auburn team is a 1 seed for a reason. They're overall number 1 seed for a reason. They're a very tough team to match up against. Michigan has been impressive to me. I mean, they're a team that, coming into the tournament, had a lot of turnover problems, all that stuff. They've kind of taken care of that. They had 2 bigs, 2 7-footers, and Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden, that can help with the size, the rebounding, which Auburn is really good at, being physical and all that stuff. Trey Donaldson has been very impressive so far in this tournament as well. He's hit a lot of big shots, and I just like the way he's been playing so far. And if he could keep that going, that's going to be a big thing to help out this team. I think for Michigan, the 3-ball is going to have to really, really be falling, and they cannot get back into that turnover, the turnover machines that they usually sometimes happen to be, because Auburn can feed off that. So Michigan's really going to have to lock in and kind of stay this composed, team that we've seen through the first 2 games. And for Auburn, if they can kind of limit the 2 7-footers, they can really win the rebounding battles and do all the little physical things that can really limit the two 7-footers and the uniqueness of that. I think Auburn could definitely win this one. I'm going Auburn in this one. I just think Auburn is too tough of a team. I don't know if Michigan can really take them out. I think they have a good shot at it. Obviously, they've gotten this far. They've been very, composed, competitive. But Auburn is just a different monster, man. Kind of similar to what I said about Maryland and Florida. Like Maryland, I like Maryland. They're good. But Florida's just a different monster. That's how I feel about Auburn. They're just a different monster right now. So I'm going with them. In the final game of our Sweet 16, we have Houston, Purdue in the Midwest. 1 seed Houston blew out SIUE in the first game, took care of Gonzaga in the second game. Purdue fended off High Point and then beat McNeese to get here. Very solid matchup. Two, popular schools that have been very, very, impressive and competitive in the past couple years. Houston has just been so tough so far. They've also kind of similar to what I said about Duke. Like they've been just taking care of business so far in this tournament. Like a very impressive win against Gonzaga, where I thought it was going to be a very better matchup than maybe what we got, but Houston just kind of took care of them. Their shooting has been on it. LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, Uzan, all those guys have just been playing very good on the offensive end. This is not your same Houston team, not a team that's just going to be grit and grind. Even though they still do that, they still play fantastic defense, but now they have offense. And I just don't know if Purdue has enough offensive firepower to keep up with Houston anymore. Purdue definitely can make it a game. Obviously, they have vets like Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn, and a good coach, obviously. And when you have that, you can be in any game. But I just think Houston is just, I don't know. I just don't know if Purdue has enough firepower for what Houston has right now. So I'm going with Houston in this one. I think I've picked almost every top seed to win except for one. I think I picked BYU over Alabama. But yeah, I mean, the top seeds have been really good, man. I mean, a lot of people talk about, oh, no upsets, top seeds. The top seeds are just really good right now. And honestly, I don't mind it because with all these top seeds winning, that means we're getting the best teams matching up against each other. That means we're going to get set up for an amazing Elite Eight with 1s and 2 seeds and those two fighting out against each other, like, and potential 1 seeds going at it in the Final Four. Like, I don't mind it at all. I mean, we're getting the best teams and the strongest teams going up against each other, which makes for really good, like amazing basketball, which is what we want in March. So I don't mind it at all, really. But yeah, I'm very excited for this 2016. Let me know down in the comment section below who you pick, what you think can happen, all that stuff. And yeah, man, we'll get more March Madness. I love it. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Once again, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So all the support around the channel will be very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.